We have a new, she's doing a Major Tyler, that I guess she's part of the outreach now for APD. I don't remember her title exactly.
No, she is still the
Internal affairs.
She's in charge of the academy and now internal affairs. So she's not an outreach person. The outreach person for APD is Nicole Chavez Lucero and Selena Espinosa as far as outreach goes. Major Tyler is in charge of internal affairs and still is in charge of the training academy. I think that there's some basic strategic plan or mission or vision that was put together by Dr. Baca previously.
That's what I was remembering, yes.
And that all pretty much got set aside because this committee focused its energies on making sure that NACOL happened. And so now that NACOL is done, this committee can go back to looking at some of that work that Dr. Baca did to look at what other outreach subcommittees were doing across the United States and how this body could adopt some of those. I don't know that, you have to be careful about whether or not you try to do something without it being an open meeting. If you're going to be making some policy or strategic decisions, then those would simply be recommendations that have to be adopted by the full board. And I think that your council would encourage you to do it in an open meeting as opposed to a closed meeting. Beyond that, that's. So I think what we should do is we should go back and get the work that Dr. Baca did in conjunction with this subcommittee, and then bring that to you so that you can examine it and decide which direction you'd like to go.
Is there anything else that we can think of tonight?
Well, Ms. Bustos and I did go to 5 out of the 6 CPC meetings last month. The Valley did not have one last week. And attendance is up, I will say that. And they are having new board members that are being voted on, and so, but it's our observation that they are lacking direction in what their charge is under the settlement agreement. And some CPCs are better at looking at substantive policy for APD, and others are simply have deteriorated into neighborhood association meetings and complaints about, crime and things like that, as opposed to what their mission is supposed to be looking at making policy recommendations. I did, there was a news report. I did an interview with Ryan Hotel. I think Chair Moore was a part of that interview as well. That story was out regarding the selection of the vendor for the review of the videos and the cameras.
Read it.
I also did an interview with Matt Howerton for KOT, but I think that probably got bumped on Sunday because of the protests. I did an interview with Jeff Proctor that appeared in the New Mexico Public or Political Insider, which I thought did a fair job of outlining the timeline as it relates to the Hawk shooting and the subsequent civilian complaint, which outlined our referral to the Department of Justice and the 2 presentations that myself and investigator Scott DePaul did to the DOJ and to the monitoring team regarding concerns that we had that we didn't believe could be appropriately investigated by the APD themselves. I don't have the timeline, and I mention this because it's related to the video issue and the time and what is being reported. I don't have the timeline yet. But it appears that the vendor that I suggested to the city to do the forensic video analysis is the one that they chose to do the video analysis for the civil action and not include that in their evaluation of the video for the city itself. And I'm waiting to get a copy of the report to look at the timeline to see when they decided to use that vendor and whether they had previous knowledge of the vendor or not, or if it was based upon my suggestion that then they went and did this forensic video analysis for the civil action that they're not going to use as a part of the city's audit of the video tape.
Can you clarify that a little, because I understood.
It's muddy. It's muddy. Well,
okay.
when you look at how the board had its special meeting, I believe on the 1st of
Right.
December, and it put out the letter saying that Chair Moore and myself should be a part of that decision process to choose the vendor. I participated in a teleconference on the 2nd of December when I was traveling back from Connecticut, and that is when I suggested that Grant Fredericks do the forensic video analysis. Last Monday when I was at the Finance and Government Committee, the CAO, Mr. Perry, announced that they had this report that they believe is favorable for the city and that there aren't any problems with the videos for the shooting case, the Hawks shooting case. And it turns out that I learned that they used that vendor, Grant Fredericks, which was a vendor that was on the list that we were suggesting for the entire
I see.
review.
Okay, got it.
So they may have decided to, without giving due credit to this organization, decided to use the vendor that we were suggesting to do the forensics, and then use it only for the civil action and not for the entire review of the system and everything else.
I see. Okay.
Could they hire the same vendor or get the same vendor for the whole system, or would that be a conflict of interest since they did the civil part of it?
Well, the city wants to look at the entire system. They want to look at the integrity of evidence.com, and they want to look at the integrity of Amazon, because evidence.com is housed in the Amazon cloud, and they want to look at the integrity of the system with Taser. So that's why they have gone that route, the route they went. My opinion is that they could have used the one vendor, the forensic audio person, the forensic video analyst can tell you whether or not there's a problem with the tape, not tape, the video, excuse me, that's old school.
Okay.
But
Relate to that?
that analyst could tell you whether or not there's a problem with, I believe, could tell you whether there's a problem with the system or not, or if there was an individual issue or whether it was a system issue. But the city chose to go that route, and it's well documented how much input we really had.
Anything else?
Just a side note that someone brought up, I think, in regards to the restricted ride-alongs now? That's the first I've heard about it. What information do you have on that?
I don't have any information regarding the restrictions of ride-alongs. I understand that there's been a system-wide problem with ride-alongs because we have board members that are having trouble getting ride-alongs as well. And it appears to be a problem with the person who they put in charge of it at the academy because the previous officer seemed to do very well and get the ride-alongs completed. But there seems to be a glitch in the system, and I don't know, Major Tyler has assured us that it's going to be worked out, but we don't have an answer for it yet.
I think what you're talking about, I guess I didn't see it as the same issue. I thought what was brought up in the public comments were ride-alongs for CPC members, and I guess I saw that different as our requirement of our ride-alongs for volunteering on the board and being an active member on the board. But I'm hearing Ed say that it's a bigger problem, not just one group, it's systemic. So is that right?
I'm getting, yes,
Okay,
yes,
thank you.
because
Sorry,
I'm hearing
that's a question.
from many different factions that they're not getting ride-alongs and that there's problems. Citizen ride-alongs, board ride-alongs, CPC ride-alongs, that everybody, I'm hearing that everybody's having trouble getting ride-alongs.
Well, I can tell you personally, I have left this lady at the academy probably 15 emails and 5 or 6 telephone calls to her voicemail, and I never hear anything back.
We have alerted Major Tyler, and she's promised to take care of the issue.
Anyway. Speaking of outreach, this is something that I did not notice, and I've got the magazine sitting on my coffee table at home.
I got that copy today.
But this is the Albuquerque magazine, the current issue, and on page 177, Leonard Waits is featured, our vice chairman, and he speaks about the Police Oversight Board and its benefits to the community, and so that's a good thing.
It's good outreach.
It's good.
Good picture, too.
Yes. All right. Any other business? Well, thank you all for being a part of this. Our next meeting is February 27th, and I'll leave it to Amanda to determine when and where. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
I'll second that motion.
Aye.
Motion person, aye.
Yes.
Thank you.